All right. Well, we just got on the album reviews. Where do you want to start?
Should we do them in chronological order?
Yeah,
So does that mean we're starting with Voldo?
I think so. Yes.
Yes. Okay, I'll make a start, man. So, Sophia by Voldo. This was released on the 29th of April, I
Yep.
think.
Yep.
17 songs and approximately 59 minutes and 54 seconds long. The band themselves are an alternative three-piece band from Ayrshire, Scotland, comprising of Kyle Meldrum and Amanda Lorien on vocals, with Nunny Boy providing the beats and backing tracks. The album also features guest spots from friends Francine providing additional vocals and Sean on harmonica. The three primary members collaborated on an album entitled Ideal Elements back in 2003, which was apparently received very well. However, they didn't decide to start making music together again until 2019. This consequently led to the inception of Voldo and consequently this album. The band's sound has been compared to various different artists, including the likes of Fleetwood Mac, the Beta Band, and even a bit of David Bowie. And although I wouldn't necessarily say I got that from listening to this album, they're definitely a band that's hard to pin down.
Yeah.
I wrongly suspected that we were going to be given some sort of generic indie guitar garage rock band to listen to, but I was really bowled over by how experimental and innovative this album is. There's a bit of everything in there, man. I don't know about yourself, but it kind of reminded me a bit of the likes of BC Camplight, which we covered previously. I only drink when I drunk. I kind of got some of that in there.
I didn't think about that, but now you mention it, yeah, I can't argue with that.
We got super furry animals as well at times. What was your thoughts?
I What I got from it was more like stuff like well, my main impression was that it sounds 90s as fuck. Like
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, it
like
does.
which I mean in a good way. Like I was reminded of stuff like Fatboy Slim and Moby and like the Avalanches and like even like and like Air, like stuff like that. Like
Right. Okay. It's
uh,
funny to say that because, like, see with regards to the first track on the album, which I think it's called Sophia, isn't it?
the the
The very
opening
first track, it's like a kind of an
it's
intro
like an
track.
intro track, yeah.
I've described it as this kind of really schmoozy, laid back track. It instantly caught my attention. I was like, "Fuck, this is cool!" Like, but it reminded me of just the initial opening seconds of Sugar Ray's Every Morning.
Right?
Like, if you ever watch the video, it's like two guys like breakdancing on some big American muscle car, and it's just that bit before the kind of main guitar riff comes in. For some reason, that just yeah, it just reminded me of that, and that's I suppose that's in keeping with what you're saying with it being kind of 90s, early noughties vibe to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you listened really hard, you could pick out like loads of stuff that reminds you of little pieces of songs and stuff. I mean, there are kind of bits and pieces here that I've picked out like that, but it's I think the reason it reminds me of like those kind of artists is like it's all these sort of multi-instrumental samples and like
Yeah,
spoken word clips and like record scratches and like and that reminds me of stuff like DJs kind of stuff like RJD2 and DJ Shadow and DJ Yoda, that kind of thing. So there's all of that kind of mixed in together as well. It's quite a chill out kind of vibe to
yeah,
the album, I'd
definitely,
say. And
definitely.
it's it's a soundtrack for a kind of a lazy afternoon or a sort of relaxing car journey or something like that. Um, uh, I think there's a lot of good stuff uh, on the album. Um, like the opening track, which there's obviously that intro, but it leads kind of straight into to Moonshine, which it's um it's got this kind of well, it opens with a kind of spoken word sample, and there's like these sort of electronic bleeps, and then it fades into this brooding bass line and a kind of hip hop style driving drum beat, and the vocals take a little bit getting used to when you first hear them. They're a little bit rough around the edges, but I mean that in that they're not overproduced, and I think there's a certain charm to that. And that song in particular reminds me a lot of the Avalanches. And I mean, I like a lot of this album. Like, I know we can make it is really good. Beautiful is good. What else we got? Uh,
See, for me, obviously there's the first few tracks, but from Beautiful onwards, it really does feel like the album kind of ramps up a gear, and it's just kind of hit for hit for hit. And in my opinion, um, that kind of I suppose the main body of the album, I absolutely loved it. Tracks like It, Be Like Water, My Friend, really good, really really good.
I really like it. That's I don't know if it's my favorite track, but it's definitely up there.
Yeah, same here.
It's got that really cool kind of punk intro, which I don't know where that's from, but uh, it's really great, and I like that Amanda's vocals kind of take center stage to begin with as well on that,
Aye.
because I think before that she's been more just backing vocals, but she gets gets more chance to kind of run with it on that song a wee bit. And it's got this cool kind of organ sound through it that reminds me of the beautiful South. Just
Right, okay.
particularly the song Perfect 10, it's got a really similar kind of organ sound on it. It doesn't, that's the only part that sounds like the beautiful South, but
Yeah.
it's just reminding me of.
Although
Uh,
it's interesting you mentioned Amanda's vocals because on it especially, they kind of reminded me a bit of like Lily Allen for some reason.
yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
They just for me they sound quite soft and delicate, and I love how they were kind of juxtaposed with this kind of stuttering electronic vocals and phasers. Yeah, like I said, it's probably one of my favorite tracks on the album.
I have to say I'm not a big fan of Be Like Water, my friend.
I quite like that.
I I'd probably skip it. I don't know. It's country. It's a bit country.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
got
yeah.
like I only noticed this today when I was listening to it. It's got like a tambourine beat in it or something that just reminds me of like a Christmas song, which is
Right.
really weird. I don't that kind of
It
put me
doesn't
off.
have any sliding guitars in it, though. I know you don't like your
No, but
sliding guitars.
I don't know. It just wasn't my favorite. I do like the next track. Nearly halfway through, and it's got what I think is a sample of Nirvana's Territorial Pissings in it.
It is indeed, sir. It is indeed.
Um,
That's what I got.
yeah, and it's got like a drum and bass kind of drum beat, and yeah, that's an absolute beast of a song. So I don't know. I'm not sure I necessarily agree with you saying the kind of middle section like ramps up and it's hit after hit after hit, but there's a lot of stuff on here that I do like. Um, I mean, um, what are you doing? It's got a big sort of band jazz feel about it. And traveling has got a cool kind of low piano, a sort of sleepy kind of beat to it.
Well, that uses the same melody as Bob Dylan's song called "The Girl from the North Country."
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, exact same melody. So I think in the original Bob Dylan song, I think the chorus is "If you're traveling the North Country Fair," whereas in this song, I think it says "If you're traveling to John O'Groats to Land's End."
All right. Okay.
So yeah, I quite liked how it kind of paid homage, I suppose, to Bob Dylan. I thought that was quite cool.
Cool. I think by the time I get to the track "Hey Marcel, the Professional,"
Yeah,
I think that would have been um, quite a good way to end the album on that track, possibly. Um, and it's I just like it because it's quite a fun track with a sort of story about this like international man of mystery kind of guy who has perhaps been doing things a little bit dodgy, and the police come after him, and then he goes on the run, and they then catch him again, and there's a sort of wee story in there which is quite interesting to listen to. And
Sorry, man, I'll let you.
sorry, and the kind of melody that goes through it reminds me a bit of Breakfast at Tiffany's.
It's interesting because see, like the first opening bar. Did you recognise the first opening bars? It sound. I don't know. Like I don't know if it's a sample or if it's their take on that song or whatever. But opens with this almost muted demo and acoustic version of Eric. I think Eric Pride's "Call on Me."
Really?
This track.
I did
Is it
not
that?
get
Do you know what song I'm talking about?
I do know that song. Yeah, I didn't get that at all. But
Honestly,
I'll go back
go
and
back to
see if
it.
I get that from it.
And I really enjoyed Kyle's vocals on this song as well. He kind of sings in this kind of. That's going to sound like a criticism, but it's not. Like he kind of sings in this almost this kind of languid, kind of lazy faux American style, which kind of reminded me of the Viagra Boys, if I'm honest, especially on this song. Uh,
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. He's got a really sort of low, almost kind of warbling
yeah,
way of singing. Yeah,
and especially that line, I think there's a line towards the end of the song where he says, "You're a professional bedwetter" or something like that. I was like, that's just like the Viagra Boys. Like
aye,
that could be straight out of a Viagra Boys song. Like,
um, but I mean, after that track, uh, before is all right. It's got kind of some guest vocals on there. Very Scottish person.
yeah. Well, it's more in keeping with the Ayrshire.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I enjoyed that. Like, I enjoyed the juxtaposition between like Kyle's vocals and then the just kind of almost
Yeah,
spoken word with the Scottish accent. I thought that worked really well.
yeah. I do like that track. And then the last couple of tracks, I'm not too hot on, to be honest. But I don't think there's anything bad on here. It's just there's a lot of really good stuff, and then the stuff that's maybe not quite as good doesn't really interest me as much. If you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I would kind of agree with you. I suppose that would be my only criticism. I mean, like I said, what is there, 17 songs on the album? It could probably be shortened a wee bit.
Yeah, it's 17 songs and it's an hour long, so it could be a bit shorter. I mean, even the songs I don't particularly like have got cool bits on them and stuff. So
Yeah.
there's loads and loads of stuff throughout those 17 songs in that hour. So um, it is it's definitely an interesting album, and I think it's one of these albums where it's quite fun to listen and try and pick out bits that are samples or bits that sound like songs that you know, even if they're not necessarily taken directly from those songs, but they just sound like them.
I thought I recognised a lot of stuff in there. Like I said, I was able to get the Nirvana Territorial Pistons from the Nevermind album. There's a kind of looped segment from a version of The Sea of Love in one of the tracks as well. That Do You Remember when we first met? That I think that's one of the opening lines of one of the choruses of Sea of Love. Calling Me, as I said as well. Uh, and that's about it. There was stuff that I thought I recognised, but I don't know.
Cool. So how have you rated this one?
I've given it an 8 out of 10.
I've gone for a 7, but it's I mean that's a strong 7. I think there's individual tracks on here that are far better than a 7 out of 10.
Yeah,
But overall, just because of the kind of the length of the album and some of the tracks I wasn't that keen on. I think a 7, but I mean 7 is still a very good, a very good album kind of thing.
oh, definitely. I suppose it's worth mentioning as well that the album was followed up with a single "Digital Dancers," which is really good indeed. That was released on the 20th of August and featured on the September music playlists.
It certainly did.
And speaking to the band, they were telling us that they've recorded more tracks and collaborations, such as a song entitled "Round and Round," which features a rapper by the name of Word Jenkins, which is due to be released at the end of this month, so the 30th of October. There's also a new track titled "Another Day" with guest vocals from someone by the name of James Martin and Word, presumably from a band called SOS, or I don't know if that's the artist's name or not, but yeah, be interesting to see what they come out with in future. Definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, and it probably is going to sound nothing like anything else that's on this album as well. It'll be wildly different, probably.
Yeah,
which is quite a cool. It's one of the cool things about this band, I suppose, that there's so many different styles and sounds to them.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. So that's Sophia by the band Voldo, not Voldo, the character from Soul Calibur. Actually, when I was doing when I was putting Digital Dancers on the September playlist, I go through and like tag all the bands, which is a really monotonous task when there's tons of bands in there. But one of them was Voldo, obviously, and I was trying to tag the band, and I ended up tagging Voldo, the character from Soul Calibur. I didn't get any interaction from them, but it's just funny to see on Facebook there was a Voldo has his own page and he's classed as a public figure.
Moonshine, when I know we can make it. Looking back to where I've been. If you're traveling, there's one thing to comprehend. Hey Marcel, you're like a martini. Microphone check.